the 4PL Play for Fame Corsair Vengeance Cup qualifier number 3. I'm never going to get used to saying that so quickly. But it's going to be alternate facing off against Tt.dragons, with Kikis actually stepping in. Of course, he does play for Game Hoppers usually. I met this, and it's going to be a bit of a change this time around. We do have the lovely Dindra in, and she is new to casting, so please keep that in mind and give some nice positive feedback on how she can improve. And yeah, how are you doing, Dindra, and how do you feel this game's going to go?
Hello, Vincent. Thank you. I'm really excited about this. This is, of course, my first time casting live. I'm feeling pretty excited about this game. Really, I've never seen these two teams playing together, so I'm really in for it.
Okay, and then we also have Pulse in this stage. When we get into the live aspects of the game, we'll be just taking away with myself and Dindra. But Pulse, welcome in once again. You've been there alongside me the whole way through.
Seems a bit creepy, doesn't it?
It does. It's like a three-way. Giggity. And what are your thoughts about this game? Obviously, coming into this, you were mentioning about alternate. Obviously, Tt.dragons, we covered them a couple of days ago, extremely strong, but they did actually get knocked out by Team Megashock. This time we're through to round 4, I believe. So, any thoughts on how this game's going to progress?
Yeah, well, they're a very strong team. I'm gonna have to give it to Tt.dragons because honestly, Alternate are a really good team. They're really good individually, and it looks like they had some swap-ups as well. Unzo, honestly, he has actually been carried to his elo by F-Lord. Like, that's just, everyone knows that. But F-Lord, 2.8k elo. He's arguably the best player in the world in solo queue. However, he just honestly does not synergize with his team too well. Like, it's an entirely different ball game. Solo queue is completely different from a team game, and many times when I've been casting F-Lord, he's completely just sacrificed his team so he can get kills. I've just seen it straight up. It's like, fight going on, I'll farm, then teleports in, mops up the kills. It's just, really, that's not how you're meant to be playing in the team game.
It's definitely not the best teammate to be alongside, but as you say, he is the top solo queue on Elo at the moment as it stands. You're going to have Maokai picked up from Nakaderp, extremely strong champion, as we said before. The bans were Orion, Malphite, Urgot, Karthus, Shen, and Nocturne. And F-Lord actually taking Ari, it would appear, this time around. So again, fairly safe pick. Last time around we actually saw Sion trying to counter Ari. Didn't quite work out against SK Gaming. And Alistair, we have said time and time again, very strong support or jungler. I think Dindra's having some issues because she's not in the champion select, and we need to actually sort some things out. So I'm going to try and do that while we plow on regardless. But any thoughts about Ari? I know you do like to play Dindra. Who do you think counters her quite well in the mid?
Like we just had a non-conversation, Malzahar about Nuke Duck. Funny thing is, I played versus him a couple of days ago, as well as Ari. Malzahar can be a counter versus her, but also not. It just depends how the both players play. And as we see, they swap. Nuke Duck is swapping between champions, but Ari versus Malzahar could work out, also could not work out. But overall, Ari can be very annoying in lane ganking, overall ganking during the game.
Yeah, very true. The maneuverability can come into effect, and she can have influence on bot or top. It's not going to be Malzahar. They have switched over last second, as you said, to Morgana. So Morgana was not banned out. The Soul Shackles and the Dark Binding will become a very, very big part of this factor. You have to assume Corki picked up. Actually, I didn't even realise that Corki's had his icon changed around, so I was wondering who the hell that was for a few seconds. But now it's going to switch over to Darius. And I think Darius was actually banned, or he was suspended yesterday, if I remember correctly. And he showed me a video, Pulse, where he could like pull everybody to spawn and like insta-give them all, which was crazy. I didn't quite understand what the hell was going on there.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. There was a lot of issues with Darius. I don't think that was me sending you the video, but definitely he had the grace period on the minions, I think, so he could just like continue spamming his ultimate, which wasn't good. There was a lot of issues, needless to say. But yeah, Corki, extremely strong AD carry at the moment. He's just one of the best. His proc carries are getting back into it because everyone's looking for the strong laning phase, the strong mid game, the strong transition. It's all around that area. Because most team fights happen around mid game anyway, it makes a lot of sense to just strengthen your team around that area. A lot of carriers nowadays are going with 19-11, so they get the reduced minion damage and essentially can harass more. That's just how it goes. And well, maybe Jace going out. I guess not. We did see Jace the other day, however, but I don't think anyone's actually going to take it just yet.
No, the Jace was on. I'm trying to remember. Was it SK? I think it was SK. But I can't quite remember. Yes, it was SK. It's when they had all the AoEs and they landed into like Malphite, Jace, Sona, just crazy ultis one after the other. Spirit of Mage is going to be picking up the Lee Sin, and you will have Leona taken finally. Of course, Leona's actually one of those characters that I mentioned before, guys, that I really like as a support, but I haven't seen her for quite some time. It's been kind of the Sona and Soraka show recently, but I love Leona. She's so good. So,
Yes.
I mean, what's your thoughts on Adindra? As obviously you're an AD player at bot lane. Do you like to be laned with Leona?
I actually played my first, I think, 200 or 300 ranked games with Leona on my side. So Leona is a very good champion to lane with as an AD. She can be very aggressive and give you those early kills, which make you dominant in the lane. Overall, in team fights, she can turn them around with her stuns, with her AoE stun and slow, and then her one-target stun. And well, I used to play it with an Ashe, so her stun into my Ashe arrow would actually give you a kill. So Leona is very strong, but she can get countered easily by, like to say, Janna. She can knock her up, so Leona misses her E.
True, and also, yeah, you said about knocking up, and that's exactly what they're bringing to the table with Alistar. So obviously, Alistar's going to be able to do the exact same thing. Darius looks to be going into the jungle. You have Ari taking Cleanse, which is very interesting, obviously, to go with those Dark Bindings and Soul Shackles more than likely. Irelia at top lane for Alternate at the moment. And Lee Sin is actually going to be top lane facing off against her with Maokai filling in the jungle role. Dindra, have you got an ad from any of these players? Because I've been told you should have received one.
I got from 4PL Sunday only, and Nekaderp. Yeah.
Nekaderp. Okay, you can follow in through Nekaderp then. Nice one. That's all been sorted out now. So we are going to be going into delay, ladies and gents. I'm going to have a quick look on one of these rune pages. Anybody standing out to you here, Dindra, that you'd like me to check for rune page?
I would like to see the Ari, actually.
Okay, so F-Lord. How are you going to be building Ari? What rune page? Well, 45 ability power at level 18, 15 flat ability power at level 1, and 8.5 magic penetration. So no armor will be coming in from that level 1. Mastery-wise, 2190. Nothing in utility, strangely enough. And going down to Veteran Scars. So trying to be a tankier Ari in the mid lane, taking Archmage and Blast as you'd expect. So that's how F-Lord will be approaching this game. But we have about 2 minutes 15 remaining on the timer, ladies and gents. So we're going to cut to a very quick commercial break. When you rejoin us, will be live for the game between Alternate and also Tt.dragons in the 4th round of the 4PL Play for Fame Corsair Vengeance Cup. We'll be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to round number 4 here of the 4PL Play for Fame Corsair Vengeance Cup between Tt.dragons and Alternate. We do have the highest eloed solo queue player in Europe featured in the form of F-Lord, but doesn't mean a great deal in the grand scheme of team fights and team compositions. He is going to be playing Ari here. He has Darius even, nearly said Dyrus, I always make that mistake. Darius Unso will be in the jungle. You have more Pew Pew less QQ on Alistair. Corky is Fish, and finally Moonilol is going to be Irelia for Tt.dragons. Kikis is stepping in this game. Obviously, he's normally playing for Game Hoppers. He's going to be at top with Lee Sin. Graves for Spirit of Mage. Nukeduck Morgana. Procina on Leona, and finally Nekadurp on Maokai. I am Edis, and I am joined by the lovely Dindra. How are you doing, Dindra? And what are your thoughts about this game?
Hello, Ethan, and thank you. Thoughts of this game. Two very, very strong teams. They have Morgana and Ari, Darius, Alistair, of course, and Irelia. Irelia, of course, known for the very good shutdowner and AD carries, and Morgana known for the overall annoying one in the team fights with her ultimate. Then, of course, we have the Leona with her AoE stun, so very excited to see those team fights, actually.
Yeah, very true. I think Morgana is extremely annoying to play against. The Soul Shackles will often stun down 2 or 3 players in the team, very much dependent on how Nukeduck will position himself in this matchup. Has Flash and Ignite, so can stay fairly close by. Normally, see Morgana's picking up items like Azonia's Hourglass, that kind of stuff, to keep themselves even more sustainable. We do see 5 players from Alternate kind of lurking around the mid river at the moment as it stands, but not too sure if they're going to be pushing in. Graves is down at the bottom in Tribush all by himself. You have Maokai and Morgana around right, and Lee Sin is up towards Baron Pit just north of the mid lane. So maybe Alternate are going to be setting up for an invade here, Dindra. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think they should go in with Alistair?
Yeah, and it seems that they will go in, actually, because this will set them up like 5v2 or 5v1, and like they do right now, they remove the Wraiths from Maokai, which make him slower in his jungle.
Yeah, which is quite important because Maokai can be a very much a dominant threat in the jungle, of course, with his Twisted Advance. Lee Sin needs to be careful because Ari alongside Lee Sin are coming round from the side. Charm was fired out but didn't land onto Lee Sin, so he will be able to steal one of those Wraiths, I believe. And now you do have the rest of Alternate pushing down towards the blue buff with Irelia at top lane. So fairly orthodox opening. Maokai did have somewhat of a slower jungle, but it hasn't affected him a great deal because he's getting a nice pull there from Leona alongside Graves, so he already has his red buff.
Yes, he does. So, at top, Leona, Irelia and Lee Sin are poking each other a little bit. Both health potions are being popped, and the wards have been placed on top already from both teams.
Yeah, so obviously I think they realise that both Maokai and Darius do have a fairly big kind of influence from the jungle. Obviously Maokai can come out with a Twisted Advance, Darius can pull in with his Apprehend, which he hasn't actually taken a point in thus far. He's taken one in Crippling Strike and one in Decimate. Decimate, of course, is Q, where he spins around in a circle, smashing everybody, and his W is the Crippling Strike, which slows you down. Everything stacks on his passives, which does nice damage over time. But I think both top laners are a bit cautious right now. They don't want to get ganked this early on in the game. Maokai is moving up, but actually through the lanes. So he's going to try a laning gank up in the bushes. And Irelia has to be so careful, because at this stage they can actually pick up a kill. There's a lot of burst damage there with Maokai with the red buff. He also has 1 point in each ability, so Sapling Toss alongside Arcane Smash will be coming out with that Twisted Advance. Lee Sin will be jumping on towards Irelia, but made sure he had perfect energy levels to dart back with Safeguard onto his minion. And this could actually take a while, Dindra, because the creep wave is consistently pushing Irelia. They will be coming in, though. Can they actually go for the tower dive?
Ignite has been going down. And first blood for Maokai. Really, really nicely done. And Darius was just not in time to save her.
Yeah, it looked to me that Darius actually did pick up the golems.
And another Q, there we go. 2 for 1. That was amazing. Very well done by Lee Sin.
Wow, 2 for 1, so definitely worth it there from Tt.dragons. You had Lee Sin picking up a kill alongside Maokai, and Maokai did pick up First Blood, which is only going to be good for him. Currently has 990 gold, so he could be finishing off Philosopher's Stone. Yes, he will. And also on top of that, a couple awards and health pots. So very nice start here from Tt.dragons.
Yes, indeed. On mid lane, I just was watching that. Morgana seems to have a tiny bit of a trouble versus that Ahri.
Well, let's have a quick look. They're about equal on CS, but yeah, I mean, Morgana has lost a fairly big chunk of that mana pool and is not able to really push past the halfway mark. Darius, in the meantime, will be going towards top lane. There is a ward down, but actually not from the blue team, so he's not going to be detected, and he does now have a point in apprehend, so we could see a gank on towards Lee Sin. They will be coming in right now. Do they have enough damage? And also Darius very smartly waiting by the creeps. He realizes that Lee Sin can dart back with the safeguard, and he's trying to block off. This is so smart right now from Unso. He's waited for the perfect time. Apprehend's been popped off. Here comes Maokai from the backside. Lee Sin should be going down any second now, but Maokai comes in. Indeed, so Maokai just a tiny bit too late, but again, Dindra, you have to say that Darius' positioning there was so good. He was waiting for Lee Sin to pop the safeguard so he could apprehend back and do more damage.
It was indeed. Of course, if he used his safeguard to come closer to his tower with his minions, Darius could always pull him back with his pull.
Yeah, very true. The apprehend could have came out, pulled him back, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So even though Lee Sin was trying his best to juke around and delay the inevitable more than anything else, Darius had the perfect positioning, waited, was patient, and turned out to be a virtue. In the meantime, at bot lane, Corki has taken a lot of damage, but he is going to be standing behind the tower. How's the creep score looking? Wow, Graves 43 and Corki on 32. That's a big difference.
Yes, it is. It gives them a little disadvantage, of course, as well, because Corki is under the half of his HP and mana, and Graves is still very safe with his HP and mana, because he's still full. This will, of course, with pushing towards the tower, will give the tower more damage, which will make the tower go down easily later. And there goes Leona onto Corki, flashing in and doing that last auto attack onto Corki, and Corki goes down by Leona. And it seems that they're trying to go for a tower dive onto more pew pew, less QQ. There we go, the snap from Micah coming in, but Darius is there just in time to save him.
Yeah, very close though from Alistar. And also close as well has to be said from Procina, so Leona took a lot of damage in the meantime. So Darius is now going to be last hitting. He is getting quite strong, level 6 already, so that ultimate's on the battlefield. And he will be looking to dunk people with his guillotine. But in the meantime, a couple pings towards mid. How's mid looking now? So you have Ari 59, Morgana on 60, still very close between these two. And let's have a quick look at the top lane. Kikis has 32 and Aurelia on 13. Aurelia is so far behind at this point. 13 creep score after nearly 8 minutes. What the hell?
Yes, indeed, and especially because they had... but of course, she fell down onto the first blood. I can understand that, but also that big of a difference does not really have an excuse. And Ari picked up a blue buff, by the way.
Yep, she did indeed pick up the blue buff. Morgana is still yet to pick hers up. Maokai is going to recall, so Morgana won't be getting that blue for a little while longer. Maokai has gone back. How much gold does he have? 815, so maybe... No, I thought maybe going to wait around a tiny bit longer for his Heart of Gold, but... Yep, there we go. He has finally picked that one up, so... Indeed will be the case. Has his 2 gold pretends. In the meantime, Darius has a Heart of Gold and Doran's Blade. Wants to do a tiny bit more damage. The top lane, we're going to have a lot of action between Aurelia and Lee Sin as well. Lee Sin jumping back on towards Aurelia. Darius thought he could come across and maybe set up a gank, but then I noticed his health and he's just going to take down his golems instead.
Yes, I also noticed that Graves has his BF sword, and on top No, nothing going on. Irelia just recalling. But back to Graves, he actually picked up his BF sword. If the jungler is smart, he can set up a gank and get the Graves down easily because he obviously doesn't have HP.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Obviously, as an AD player yourself, Jindra, do you prefer to go straight for the BF sword, or do you always take Doran's blades?
It just really depends. I'm not on a very high elo. Corki going down by the Ignite and Ultimate by Graves. But, sorry, Alistar. And they're going towards Corki, Ultimate going down, and yet another kill, this time for Leona. Very nice. And that's what I mean with having a Leona by your side.
A lot of burst potential between those two, because obviously the Solar Flare on top of the Zenith Blade and the Shield of Daybreak is so much CC, and you can really close the gap quickly as a Leona and set up those kills for Graves, as you said previously. So very nice stuff. That BF sword in this instance actually came good because the burst damage was so much higher due to that extra 45 attack damage that the BF sword brings to the table. In the meantime, Corki has picked up his 2 Doran's blades. You can see it very much different builds from the 2 AD carries early on. But Vampiric Scepter actually has already been added to Graves, so he's gone an early BF sword and Vampiric Scepter.
Yes, this can tell, of course, if he's going for the Bloodthirster, but usually when I pick up a Vampiric Scepter, that's just for the extra lane sustain, because Leona has no heal or shield.
True, she can't really buff her AD carry very well. For example, Janna can put Eye of the Storm. Soraka is just constant heals and constant mana. Leona really is helpful to her AD with CC, with being aggressive and trying to lock down the opposition and set kills up. At top lane, we're going to see a gank on towards Irelia. The 2 junglers are both involved, but nobody is going to fall just yet. Irelia will be recalling, and in amongst all of that, Darius looks to be... I think he's probably going to soak up the XP and gold from this, although Irelia has actually cancelled the recall, so maybe they're going to try and pick up a kill here. The bot lane, Leona has gone down. Going to be trying to open up the second kill on towards Graves. Ari did, with that really quick maneuverability that we were talking about previously, go down to get the gank, and that is going to be 6-3 overall to Tt.dragons.
Yes, very nice. But also, back to Graves, the BF sword gives him a big advantage with his damage, also because the jungler is constantly top. Morgana trying to stop Darius from getting his raves, but he still got his big one. Wards are going down at the red buff by from Lee Sin and Darius.
Yep, so some vision in the jungle from both, and Lee Sin has been caught. He needs to be careful because Irelia and Darius are both there. That's not a good position to walk into. Another, once again, 2 wards going to go down. Identical timing in Tribush from Irelia and Lee Sin, respectively. And let's have a quick look at how mid lane is faring, because we haven't given them a great deal of love. Apart from Ari's gank at bot lane, it's pretty much just been a farming frenzy. And Morgana is definitely getting the upper hand. She is 20 creep score ahead of Ari as it stands right now.
Yes. That's of course with a pool farming with Morgana when you have decent AP, and Corki going down on bottom once again. But that's what you have for the Morgana when you have decent AP. You can easily farm through those minion lines just in a couple of seconds with your pool, and it can be a bit tougher for an Ahri.
Very true, yeah.
And
Ahri...
of course she was at bottom lane.
Yeah, of course, when she went down to bottom lane, Morgana pretty much just stayed in mid and farmed up, so this could be a Drake right now for Tt.dragons. There's not a great deal the purple team of Alternate can do. A flashes came in for Morgana and the Soul Shackles as well. Ignite's been popped down. The Dark Binding misses though, and had it have landed, could very well have been the kill on towards Unzo, but not to be on this occasion. The dragon is still going down. Here comes Ari though, and Ari will not be taking the steal. Could she be actually going down herself though? Picks up the kill on towards Maokai. Ultimate does whiff from Spirit of Mage, goes across the battlefield, doesn't land on anyone. Here comes Corki in the meantime, focusing on towards Nuke Duck. The chunk comes in from Darius, but Corki will be picking that one up, and now suddenly F-Lord's in all kinds of trouble. Double kill from Corki, make that a triple kill in fact. Beautiful play coming in from Alternate. Even though they did lose to Drake, they picked up 4 players.
Indeed, and I don't think that's worth it, especially not because for the bottom lane, Corki just picks up the triple kill, which brings him back into that bot lane, actually.
Definitely. So, even though Corki didn't have the greatest of beginnings, he is still 20 creep score behind. That triple kill could make a fairly big difference. How much gold does he currently have? The answer, 1,370. He has the components for a phase, so could be finishing that one off very comfortably, but what will he go for afterwards? Maybe a Vampiric Scepter? Maybe something else. So phase has been finished off, and he's going to go for Sapphire Crystal. So he's very much determined to finish off that Trinity Force.
Yes, indeed. And on top lane, top is being pushed. Aurelia is going back, so the tower could go down, actually. She had the choice, or letting the tower going down, or getting tower dive by Lee.
What, sorry, say that. Did you lag there, or was that me?
I don't know. I think it was you personally, but
Okay.
Aurelia had the choice to or let the tower go, or getting tower dived because she was low in mana and low in HP.
Ah, yes. Okay, yeah, for sure. That's very true. So the tower at top is currently on about 500 HP. The minions are doing some damage. Here comes Lee Sin from the side. Equilibrium Strike has been used. Lee Sin taking a lot of damage though from the tower, and here comes Darius as well. The question is, can the apprehend land? And his flash has been popped off from Kikis, and it did the job there because Onsu was very, very close to landing the apprehend. So Kikis will manage to escape. Took a lot of damage from the tower though, which was pretty much needless.
Yes, yeah, of course he got stunned underneath the tower when the minions were gone. Yeah, that flash actually helped him come into safety, which made Darius miss his pull. So he got that out very safely.
Yep, so let's have a quick look at mid. A needlessly large rod has been picked up on Morgana alongside a chain vest, so she will be going towards that Zonia's hourglass as we predicted earlier on. A couple pings down towards bot lane. Prosina has been marked for death, but not too sure they're going to be able to do anything because the jungler's nowhere near. Ari is moving her way down, so perhaps that's where the mark came from in the first place. Ari, slowly but surely, does she have the ultimate off cooldown? Yes, she does. The flash is on cooldown as it stands, but of course the Spirit Rush will close the gap very nicely indeed. Looks like it's going to be Ari going down the lane side, not coming around the river. Lots of pings have been popped off. Unbeknownst to them, though, there is a pink ward in the bush, so if Ari goes into the bush, she is going to be instantly seen. The question is, can she get into position quick enough to cause a big impact? Here's Alistair looking for the gank on towards Prosina. Headbutts back in towards Corki. Here comes Ari in the meantime. Misses the charm. That could be the big difference here. Does pick up the kill on towards Leona, but it could have been a double kill had the charm have landed. In the meantime, in mid lane, you're going to have some stuns going down on towards Unzo from alternate. He could be falling very, very quickly. There we go. The last hit from Morgana coming in the form of an auto attack. So overall, a global 1-for-1 exchange, but a support for a jungler is probably not worth it on the whole.
Oh no. Top lane as well, again. Bottom lane has fallen and top lane has fallen. Lee Sin keeping pushing onto that Aurelia Ignite and his ultimate killing that Aurelia. Very, very nice.
Very, very nice. Nice combination there.
Nice combination, yeah. So, even towers, bottom lane for top lane, 9-8 right now. 3k gold difference.
Indeed. So, Tt.dragons looking strong at the moment, Dindra.
Yeah, they do. The blue team did pick up the dragon, didn't he?
Before, yes, they did,
Yes,
yeah.
they did. Okay.
Yeah, Spirit of Mage picked up the dragon, but if you remember, they lost 4 players
They lost 4
afterwards.
players, yeah.
Yeah, so now they're going to be chasing on towards Kikis. F-Lord with Ari alongside Darius, but not able to do enough damage to bring him down. Kikis will be recalling. Interestingly enough, he's gone for the BF Sword and also the Vampiric Scepter, so we could see 2 Bloodthirsters on the side of Tt.dragons. Indeed we will. So Graves alongside Lee Sin, feeling that they have the upper hand when it comes to farming, and going to try and push that one home very aggressively.
Yes. If you look at the CS difference from the blue and the purple team, Morgana with just hit a 200 CS, Graves on 150, and Lee Sin on 125. compared to the other team, they have indeed the upper hand on that CS, which also gives them that big gold advantage.
Very true, very true. I mean, Irelia's on 87, Lee Sin 125, Corki 120, Graves 152. There's fairly big differences coming out there, especially when you factor in that they also have the kill advantage. Blue buff is being taken at the moment, however, from Alternate, so probably going to give this one to Ari more than likely. There we go, Ari fires in the Orb of Deception, could be caught out if Maokai does land the charm, but the sapling is in hot pursuit. Lee Sin jumps in with the Q, but takes a lot of burst damage for his troubles, and they could be jumping on here. Alistair thinking about popping off the pulverized headbutt combination. Couple wards have gone down from either side, and all 10 players lurking around the same area. Darius is going to farm up mid, and Lee Sin goes back to his Wraith. So obviously with Dragon respawning Dindra, we're going to see a big fight kicking off very shortly, you have to feel.
Yes, of course, these both teams will not let go Dragon without a fight. Because
Very, very true.
the Dragon is so important for both teams. For the blue team, of course, to keep themselves on the upper hand, and for purple team to give themselves a tiny comeback here.
Yeah, this could be a big, big team fight kicking off, and it's going to be down to who engages this one properly. Alistair has a lot of CC potential, of course. Darius is tanky at this point. He has a Giant's Belt, a lot of gold, a Ninja Tabi boost, and also Ruby Crystals, so he is really beastly as it stands. Dragon still hasn't been started because there's so much ward coverage from both teams. Pink ward from Alternate, though, will clear out the sight ward from the blue team, and Dragon has been touched from the sapling, I believe. Charm fires in from Ari, doesn't land. Q comes back from Lee Sin, will land onto Unzo, but they don't want to be following that one up just yet. It's going to be down to whether Morgana can land a Dark Binding, I have to feel here, because if she does, Leona is going to go straight in afterwards, and the snare from Maokai could prove to be so critical. Dragon has been pulled once again, and it's just kind of a teasing stage in this game, Dindra, where no one really wants to commit fully.
Yes, but in the meantime, Graves did get on the tower and is being engaged onto Lee Sin.
So much damage in the mid. AoE ultimates popped all over the place. Double kill coming in from Lee Sin. Can we see a quadra as we saw yesterday, or a penta? Triple kill comes in from Lee Sin. Awesome.
Which was a gauge from the purple team.
Oh my god, Ari somehow picks up the kill onto Morgana, but that's going to be the belated quadra kill from Lee Sin before going down to the double courtesy of Ari, and that was just a really strange teamfight overall, Dindra. It's almost like they felt compelled to engage at the wrong possible time, and they got completely punished for that. Because if you have a look who's still up, you have Graves on near enough full HP, Leona is near enough dead, so the focus wasn't too great there, and now suddenly F-Lord has been caught out from a snare, and here comes the kill onto him, and the shutdown as well. First death after 22 minutes, and the Dragon on top of everything else, so this gold lead is getting quite scary.
Yes, this brings the purple team even into the even more into the disadvantage. It was, I have to say, it was a nice engage, but because it was on Lee Sin, a fairly tanky character, if they managed to burst him down, it maybe could have given them the opportunity to win that fight, but he escaped from it and survived and dealt a lot of damage.
And the other problem is, as well, that at this stage of the game, Morgana had her Zhonya's Hourglass, so they engaged in, she instantly pops the Soul Shackles and the Zhonya's Hourglass, and there's pretty much nothing that you can do, especially when you have a Leona as well. One of the great things about Leona-Morgana combination is that Leona can Solar Flare down, in amongst that Morgana pops the Soul Shackles, and it's very, very difficult to actually escape from her. So pretty much 3 or 4 players at least were stunned in the process and could not do anything, and were burst down incredibly quickly. F-Lord has been caught out from Lee Sin, fires off a charm, but here comes Maokai from the backside. Could he get a snare down? There is a ward in the bush, but he's going to turn around and run away once again. So, interesting game, Dindra. Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it indeed. It's the goal difference may be big, but the scores are still relevantly close to each other. So, but still, I have my favorite goes to the blue team. Not because they're ahead, but because they have Leona and Morgana.
Yeah, it is an incredibly strong combination. That's not even factoring into Graves as well, because if they both land their ultimates, Graves can just stand at the very back of the team fight and nuke everybody down himself. He doesn't even have to worry. It's kind of what happened in last team fight. I said it, you know, Graves, after it had all been and done, came and gone, Graves is still 3/4 plus HP. He was fine. He was just chilling out at the back, killing everybody. So this is the problem that currently Alternate face. They have to get that perfect engage on with Alistair, and also maybe a charm landing from the likes of an Ari so that they can kick things off nicely. Otherwise, they're going to get completely trashed.
Yes, they will. A mid lane skirmish going on, trying to defend that mid tower. Lee Sin is also coming down, but seems to retreat. I think this will just be poke until the tower is down. Of course, Grace has Bloodthirster, which basically, if he gets attacked in the team fights and he managed to escape from it, he can just lifesteal back from the other team back to full HP, and like here, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, very true. He has 40 stacks in his Bloodthirster and Phantom Dancer, so he's just going to be able to stand at the sides, as you just said, replenish his health very, very quickly, and on top of that, Lee Sin currently has, let's have a quick look, 35 stacks. So both of these Bloodthirster wielding characters have incredible stacks, incredible stats on top of that as well, and looking very, very scary. We do have an engage in mid though. This is exactly what they could be looking for, because of how split up Tt.dragons were at that stage. Trying to jump on top of Maokai and Leona may have been the correct play. Here's Alistair though, will pulverize Morgana up into the air. Here comes the charm as well. Lots of damage being pumped, but the Zoni's Hourglass has been pumped alongside these Soul Shackles, doing big burst damage, but going down. Here's Leona in the meantime, maybe not the smartest of decisions to do in this 5 versus 4 situation as it now stands. Lee Sin is being CC'd away from the AP and AD carries. Beautiful play coming in. Irelia in the meantime makes short work of Leona, and Lee Sin gets chunked down courtesy of Darius. So nice little skirmish from both teams, but that's going to be a 3-for-0 exchange. And again, I go back to what I said before, Dindra. Tt.dragons were split up, and that in itself was a massive error.
That's indeed what the purple team needs to look for, those split ups, because that Morgana in combination with Leona is basically unkillable if the blue team is doing it well. If Leona and Morgana time their ultimates right. Yeah, overall, Graves was on the bottom lane pushing the tower. He did manage to get the tower down, but it's not worth it compared to 3 team players. From 3 teammates. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, and all the gold that also brings to the table, because, you know, it's all well taking that bot tower, but if Graves had been in contention, they could have actually got 3 or 4 players themselves, they could have got an ace, then pushed on the Baron and actually ultimately won the game. So it was a bit of a strange situation, and I feel that's the only way that Alternate can bring themselves back into this game, is if they do capitalise on slight mistakes that Tt.dragons have made, because that's pretty much been the first glaringly obvious mistake from splitting up just that much that Alternate managed to actually jump on top of. And again, we have Lee Sin at top lane. The rest of the purple team are going to try and push towards Baron. They realise that Baron is definitely a big factor in this matchup now. 27 minutes 40 through the game. And Baron could make or break this for either team. So, some pings going down on towards Morgana.
Sin jumping in.
Oh god. I didn't even see that. Did he get pulled in from Darius, or did he
No,
legitimately jump in?
He jumped in, I think.
Oh,
well, basically
man.
what I thought. I heard the sound, so I think that he jumped in, which gives the purple team the chance to actually do the Baron.
Well,
But
Lee Sin
they
is going to
said
be
not to.
down for 25 seconds, Indra. So they've marked towards Dragon. I'm not too sure if they're going to go for this, but that's what we were talking about before, wasn't it? The mistakes can give the opposition the chance to get back into the game. Because Lee Sin died, now Drake is going to go to purple team, and they're going to get even closer on gold.
Yes, indeed. That's the thing. You need to be very careful, especially on this stage of the game where everyone, the respawn time is relatively big. You need to be so careful not to get caught out in those critical critical stages.
Yeah, exactly. And because of Lee Sin going down, Dragon was picked up, and the goal difference has been brought back to about 5.5k, which is still quite a big difference. But at one stage it was about 7 or 8k, so they are slowly but surely making the comeback occur. And it's just going to be down to whether Tt.dragons continue to make these slight mishaps. If they just get one play where everybody is together and push in unison, you still have to fancy they've got this one fairly comfortably. But Graves is a bot lane, Lee Sin at top, and the remaining 3 in mid. In the meantime, look at how close purple team are. They've got 3 players around red buff. Ari's in mid, going to be very close, and Aurelia just actually went back to buy up some items. So Aurelia has the Trinity Force, and they're now going to be moving back all together.
Yes, collecting, both teams collecting at the Baron, yet again, trying to see maybe to make a fight over there. Ari missed her charm. Graves just farming up. I don't feel really comfortable about the position of Graves. Ari getting stunned by Morgana. Morgana ulti going out. A lot of damage. Fiona going down. Darius going down. Aurelia just escapes with a tiny bit of HP. Lee Sin pushing onto Ari. Ari falls as well. And that just leaves me
That was really strange. Like, Ari got caught by dot binding, I believe, and then Leona just went full-on aggression. Somehow Aurelia manages to survive, but Darius is down for 13 seconds, there's going to be no smite on the board for alternate, and Ari has 25 seconds before she respawns, so unless something ridiculous happens, it's going to be a Baron. There we go, Baron is on the board now for Tt.dragons, who have moved to 8k gold advantage alongside a Baron. I hate to call games like that are fairly close at the stage, but I think Tt.dragons should have this game fairly comfortably. The only way they're going to lose is if they make massive, glaringly obvious mistakes or just all-out throw the game. So, let's have a look at some of these items that have been built up around. You've got a Rabadon's Death Cap and Abyssal Scepter on Ari, as you'd expect. On the AD carry, it's going to be a Trinity Force, BF Sword and Pickaxe. Fairly nice stuff from Corki. On the flip side, Graves has a Bloodthirster, which is still on 40 stacks, Infinity Edge, and a Last Whisper alongside a Guardian Angel. So at this point, Graves is looking very, very scary, and Morgana has a Rabadon's Death Cap alongside a Zhonya's Hourglass. So predictions, Dindra. Do you think that Alternate can pull this game back? Or are you of the opinion that Tt.dragons have pretty much won this game already?
Well, if Tt.dragons does the same thing like last time, if Morgana can pull off that extremely nice ultimate or that engage, that can be a very easy win for Tt.dragons. Purple team just needs to be very careful not to stand too close to each other to get all 5 caught in that ultimate.
Yeah, Solar Flare is so scary. You do not want to get caught by that. Nuke Duck is going to be trying once again to catch somebody with the Dark Binding. Has been charmed from Ari. Ari doing a lot of burst damage, but with Baron, obviously the regen is pretty scary, so they should be back up relatively quickly. Ari's still firing out a lot of abilities, but nothing really coming good. And it's just the case with Baron again here, where the holders of Baron basically split push and try and siege. They just try and completely choke out the opposition, take all the farm, take all the jungle, and put themselves even further ahead. And that's exactly what Tt.dragons are trying to do. They're trying to harass down Alternate right now. They've got Alistair to less than half HP. They're burning quite a lot of mana on Corki, for example. Ari's firing out a lot of mana as well, but of course she does have the blue buff. At this point, I would quite like to see Tt.dragons try and push mid or top lane. Because it seems to me that, yes, they're trying this slow, steady push on the tower, but they're going to have to make something happen underneath these this creep wave. Maybe they're going to go in right now.
Maybe they will. Of course, it's dangerous to fight underneath the tower, because the tower, maybe on this high level, still does a lot of damage to you if you tank it for too long. But what they're doing right now is actually wasting that Baron buff. Because of Corki and Ari, it's very, very easy to clean out a minion wave.
True. So at the moment, you are going to see the blue team are just kind of chilling out, getting farm here, there, and everywhere. They're not really being aggressive. And this is what me and Pulse were saying earlier on, actually, that if you look at a team like Moscow 5, at this point with Baron, they would be pushing top, they'd be pushing mid, they would be really, really aggressive, and they'd be trying to capitalize on that, at least taking an inhib. So at this point of the game, no inhibs have fallen, and it's kind of, okay, you got Baron, but we didn't really feel any effects from that. Yes, you got ahead slightly more on gold, but if you remember me calling just before Baron went down, it was about 8k, and now it's 8.3k, so they haven't really escalated out of control since Baron, and right now, Ultimate are just keeping themselves on. Yes, it's by the skin of their teeth, and it's incredibly close to failure and losing for them, but the important thing is they're still in the game.
Yes, so indeed. Blue team pinging onto that dragon. I think the Baron also just expired on the blue team. Yeah, like I said, they just actually wasted their buff on their bottom tower. They could have went from the bottom to the mid, trying to push that one, trying to maybe catch someone out in between those switches. But of course, if you don't use it, it's still a nice 300 gold for your team.
Yep, very much so. So Drake is going to be going down courtesy of the Tt.dragons at the moment. Just the two required, Leona and Maokai. And there you go, the answer has just told you. Blue team have slain the dragon. In the meantime, top lane, top tower is at about 408 HP. Has just been marked at the moment from the blue team. So they obviously want to take this down very, very quickly. Lisa needs to be careful though, because he does have Darius alongside Ari and Irelia that were thinking of coming up, but instead they are going to hold off on mid. And it looks like they're going to go for this split push now, but in my opinion it's a bit late. They should have done this in Baron, and they're going to be caught out for a couple seconds.
Because Graves just was on the bottom lane on his own. Maybe if Irelia or Irelia and Ari, maybe in combination, could have killed him, but he got out safely. Morgana getting poked by Corki, which is not really good, getting poked.
Yeah, but I feel that that tactic may have worked much better when they had Baron or Dindra, because if Graves had pushed bot and Lisa in top, and then they had the other three in mid, there's not a great deal that Alternate could have done in that situation.
Indeed, they should have done it when they had the Baron. Very agree with that.
Well, either way, it's just kind of a slow-paced game now, where you kind of feel that Alternate of the assumption, okay, we have to turtle in, try and get some items, and maybe stage a massive comeback in about 5-10 minutes. And at the same time, Tt.dragons like, guys, we're ahead, but don't do anything stupid. Don't get caught, don't give away a team fight. And it seems quite nervy, it seems quite tentative. You've got Darius pulling back Lee Sin, but he does have a Guardian's Angel, couple marks have gone up. Lots of ward coverage, has to be said. Alistair didn't get caught from Nuke Duck start binding. That went a bit astray, but it looks like they're finally going to try and pick up this top tower regardless, and understandably Alternate can't do a great deal to defend against this because the tower's going to go down in a couple shots from Graves.
Yes, and there it goes. Morgana flashing in using her ultimate, trying to follow up, stunning Alistair and Darius. Leona ultimate following up, just Graves doing that enormously big burst damage. Lee Sin's Guardian Angel has been popped, and amazing move by Morgana once again, and that follow up by Leona. Really nice shutdown on that on the CC one, on the characters with the CC, Darius and Alistair. Really nicely done by those two once again.
Indeed, and again, it was that kind of situation where Morgana went really balls to the wall aggression, flashing in, I think, with the ultimate and also the black shield and everything else, popping the Zhonya's hourglass, doing a lot of damage and forcing everybody to run away. That allowed Leona to get into position to drop her ultimate as well, and it was a 2-for-0 exchange. But again, it has to be said that Tt.dragons have gone back. They could have maybe pushed a bit more aggressively, but they've gone back. Baron is back up once again. Dark Binding did miss onto Ari. That could have picked up a kill had it landed. And importantly enough, Dindra, we mentioned earlier that Spirit of Mage takes very low damage in those team fights. Well, look at himself this time. Again, he kind of escaped that team fight without losing more than 10% of his HP.
Yes. But that's the good thing. His position is really, really good as well. The other team just cannot lay a finger down onto him because he's so far out of that team fight. He can just Santa and poke at them while they're being bursted down by the rest of his team.
Yep, so we are going to have some more items built up. Darius has the Warmog's armor, the Atmars and Paler on top of that. Aurelia now has the Randuin's Omen, so she can jump on top of Graves, pop the Randuin's Omen, and try and slow everybody down, pick up a kill. But in amongst them, you know, Aurelia kind of jumps in. She's naturally an anti-AD, anti-AP kind of character, but if she jumps in against the Morgana and Leona, she can actually find herself being killed very quickly. So for Aurelia, this is kind of a weird situation where you kind of want to go in and be aggressive, but at the same time you have to pick your moments to strike, or you could end up actually suiciding.
Yes. Mid being pushed, blue buff for Morgana being given. I don't know, both teams are so strong and so tanky right now.
I'm just really confused though, because Tt.dragons have an 11.4k gold advantage after 40 minutes. They have the stronger items. They have stronger damage coming from Graves, for example, but yet they're not really utilizing that advantage to push home and win this game. They're looking a bit kind of all over the place. They're pushing together in unison, but they're not really capitalizing that. We do have Baron going down very quickly. There could be a team fight on the cards very, very shortly, because Baron is down to about a quarter HP. Dark Binding has landed. Here comes Aurelia, as I was saying before, doing lots of damage, but Morgana in the meantime is going to follow after Corki, popping the ultimate onto absolutely nobody, but forcing Corki out of that team fight. Now I'm going to be rejoining once again. Graves goes onto Alistair, leads in onto Aurelia, and Darius will be returning fire onto Leona before being dropped from the double kill courtesy of Graves, who's looking for his third, but not going to happen. A 5-for-1 exchange, and that is the damage, and that is the kind of advantages of having a Morgana. Because the Soul Shackles was on Corki and she followed Corki, Corki had to Valkyrie over the wall, and in doing so played no part in that team fight right until the end, when his team had already lost 3 or 4 players. So 1-for-5 exchange, incredible stuff.
Yes, and pushing onto the tower, it can get that inhibitor down. Maybe another tower from the Nexus towers, because Ari will only respawn in 24 seconds. Same for Corki. Alistair just came up. They can actually finish this game off right now. Yep. There goes Alistair being busted down extremely fast, and that's it. 24 versus 16.
20. Sorry, say again?
24 versus 16. GG.
Yeah, definitely GG.
Bit of lag there.
Yeah, I've been having some lag as well. It's really, really strange. So Tt.dragons do take that one. It came down to a very competent, very confident as well team fight at the death around Baron, where Corki could not do anything. I think F-Lord was caught in amongst it all as well. He went down very quickly. So that's going to conclude this matchup. I think next matchup is the semi-finals of the Play for Fame 4PL Corsair Vengeance Cup qualifier number 3, and I believe that may be casted by Pulse and Dindra, but I'm not too sure. We'll find that out very shortly for you guys. Either way, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and when we rejoin us, we'll be live once again with more League of Legends action. See you shortly.